Ryan Ekmark, welcome to Truckin' On, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man, good to have you here. I was telling you I love doing a Woodrow Wilson podcast.
That's a million different stories where you could go into with that. And I started thinking about that and what you were going to say versus what I would say, because I bet we don't remember the same things.
I know. Or I'm sure you remember things that I've forgotten that will come back. But remind me, did you go to Stonewall?
I did go to Stonewall.
Yeah, so you went to Stonewall and then you went to Long.
I did.
So we met at JL Long. You're one grade below me, so you were 7th grade when I was 8th grade.
Yes, but I really don't remember you at JL Long.
Yeah, same.
The 7th grade was the most terrifying year of my entire life. I pretty much blacked out that whole year.
Dude, I have written a book now since COVID, and I have like a chapter on JL Long. And I had like anxiety blackouts during that time. That's when they started occurring in my life. Like because we're kind of the same. We're like big muscled up ex-football players at this stage of our lives. But 7th grade, we were lanky ass, like going through puberty, and the
easy target.
We had targets on our backs, and there were a bunch of dudes there that were like 16 years old and like been in 7th grade 3 times or something that had beards, and they're like, "White boy, give me your lunch money." Like, I mean, constantly all over our shit.
Coming from Stonewall Jackson, that was the perfect elementary school.
Yeah.
Great education. It wins lots of awards. Walking into JL Long was the most eye-opening thing. I'd never seen gangs. A fight broke out the very first period of the very first day and spilled into our classroom within 10 minutes of school starting it. Ended up seeing probably 9 more fights that day. I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
They would jump people into the gangs. Like, remember that?
Absolutely.
Just like I would not make eye contact with them. Like, just get out of here.
I just can remember standing out in the field, either before school or at lunchtime, and all of a sudden you'd see a bunch of guys booking through, and then you'd see a cop running past them, and they'd start jumping over the fence, and just fights. And it was a life I was not ready to take part of.
Yeah, same. It was a lot. And my daughter just started middle school. Is your son in middle school?
I have one who just started 7th grade, and I have one who's a sophomore. And hearing what he talks about high school now versus what we went through, it's a lot of the same stuff, but it's got a twist to it, a modern edge to it.
Really? Yeah. She goes to Longfellow, which is a really nice school. It's a magnet school.
Okay.
And it's like the career magnet school. And they just built this brand new building. I went there for the orientation. It reminds me of like a private school is what it feels like. And the teachers seem that way. And it's pretty small. You have to apply to get in. You have to make basically straight A's in elementary school to get in. And they have an interview process. It's like getting into a college. And she was all about it. And a lot of her friends, they went to Hexter over here in East Dallas. They wanted to go there to avoid going to Hill. Because Hill's basically like JL Long.
Yes.
And I don't know if Long's still the same, but it sounds to me that there's like some friends of ours that we grew up with that their kids have gone to Hill and Bryan Adams, and like it's similar to Long.
I feel good about Woodrow and JL Long. Granted, I have nothing to base that on, but compared to other DISD schools, I would never consider it. So
yeah,
seems to be on the right track.
Yeah, I think so. Growing up in Lakewood was really awesome.
It was wonderful.
It's like a small town in the middle of the city, but I love that. Were your parents from here?
My dad's from San Antonio. My mom is from up near Lubbock. And they moved into that house right there off the M streets back in 73, I want to say. They got that house for $26,000.
Really? My parents got their Tokelon house for $150,000.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
It was a different time.
Yeah. So I like to start like ages 12 to 22 and find out what you remember from that time frame. So that really starts at jail long.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So did you play football in 7th grade?
No, I got scared.
Because we really know each other from playing football in high
Yes.
school together.
Absolutely.
That's when we became good friends. So 7th grade, you got scared.
I got scared. I told my dad, he played semi-pro ball. He wanted me to play very badly. And same thing, 8th grade, first day of school, I chickened out. Came home and told him, and he asked, did you sign up? And I said, no, I got scared. He said, okay. And he didn't say anything. Next day at school, I was sitting in science class, and about 5 coaches knocked on the door, and they said, your dad just stopped by. He said you got lost and missed the football sign-up sheet. And they had the clipboard, and they handed it to me. So he forced me to do something that I should have done, but I was not brave enough to do at the time because those are some big guys. And I took a pounding back then.
Yeah. I started playing in 5th grade, and I really wanted to play. My dad played in college at Arizona, and he got injured and lost his scholarship and struggled with injuries from playing football. Like his whole life, he's had arthritis and stuff, and always blamed a lot of it on football. And then he saw other guys just get really injured, like have bad knees and stuff like that. So he was always pushing golf and tennis on me. And so, of course, I wanted to play football. And I begged them. They wouldn't let me until 5th grade, and then I started playing for the Rebels. And I was like, oh shit, this is real now. Like going into tackling drills, like it was scary to start playing football. But at least by the time I got to middle school, like I'd played on the Rebels for 2 years, and I think I played on the Rebels in 7th grade too. So I didn't play that long until 8th grade.
Okay.
And then it's like me and Mitchell and all these guys that I've been playing on the Rebels with since I was in 5th grade. So it was a lot easier. By that time I was comfortable.
That was the most intimidating part. Is I knew I wanted to play football, but I really didn't know how to hit hard. I thought I'd be good, and ultimately I was, but it took me kind of unlocking it. And I don't remember much about 8th grade other than we lost every single game. And I thought there was going to be a good team at Woodrow, but things changed right as I got there as a freshman. New athletic director and new coach, and all of a sudden a lot of those guys with the experience were no longer at Woodrow.
We had a big case of loseritis when we were at Woodrow playing football.
Well, it came quick to me because my freshman year, which I guess was maybe our 4th game when we played Thomas Jefferson, and they hadn't won in like 66 games, and they beat us on our homecoming. It was on the front page of the Dallas Morning News. I don't know if you remember that, but me and Pedigo and Merritt, and I think one other person got pulled up from the freshman or JV team, and the coaches were pissed after that. And what I remember very well was they put me and Pedigo over there with the linebackers, and they put me as the first guinea pig. And they had all the tires set up, and all I had to do was run past the tire and take the hit. Well, it was Miguel Haro.
Oh, God.
And he was pissed. He hit me, and I ended up doing a backflip in the air, and I landed in the tires, and it spilled over, and I just remember everyone laughing. And I will say that was probably the defining moment where I realized you better hit somebody or you can't play this anymore. And after that, it kind of was an eye-opening experience for me. And granted, I could have done things better, but that's where things changed for me.
Yeah, I remember Miguel Haro.
He was a scary guy.
Yeah, they were, and yeah, I think they won district when I was in 8th grade, and then 9th grade, it just went from like 8-2 to 7-10, or like, I mean, 7-3 to 6-2 to we went 0-10.
Yeah,
my senior year
or something.
Yeah, 0-10 my senior year. And that was just brutal. But we had fun.
We had a blast.
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about this story before, but what I remember my senior year is we would go over to Merritt Drury's house and smoke cigarettes before the game. and eat like, what would we eat? Like cheeseburgers or something?
Chopped beef.
Chopped beef from Doug's Barbecue. We'd go to Doug's and we'd go over to Merritt's. And I mean, I would just like chain smoke before games.
I can remember that vividly. And I had forgotten about that until I listened to the one episode you sent me of this. And you were talking to Bobek, I think, about that. And we would watch Batman and we'd watch Gargoyles.
Oh my God. He had like a kitten there. Do you remember that like little kitten that he had?
Killer. It was a mean little cat.
Yeah, man. But in general, like, I don't know, I was unfazed by the losses. Like, I would still go on stage at the pep rallies and like, we're going to really get him this week. And I mean, we just kept losing, but I don't know if we had fun and it felt, I mean, I got to go play in college. Did you play in college?
I did.
Yeah. So it helped probably to go to college when you kind of can stand out on a team, and we had a really small team and we were still playing against like big, like Dallas ISD schools. So we're playing against real people. I mean,
that was South Oak Cliff,
it was no
Roosevelt, A. Maceo Smith.
Lots of people
Lincoln.
Going to Division I college football that we were playing against.
Absolutely.
The problem was that all the great football players either got in trouble, like got shot or something. Mm-hmm. Like there were two types of good football players: those that got involved in like gangs and got in trouble that way, or were, you know, like shot accidentally. And then the other group of kids were like the good white guys who moved to other districts because their parents are like, they're not staying here and playing for these coaches. Like, we're going to move. Like Stephen Hawley moved to Lake Highlands, Mitchell Hill moved to Dallas Christian. Those two alone from my class, like that could turn a whole season around. That was
the quarterback who left. And that was a
QB1 and QB2. Like Mitchell filled Steven's shoes once he left after freshman year, and Mitchell played sophomore year, and we were great. And we were doing, I think it was Mitchell and John Deacle. They would like switch off at quarterback, I think. I don't know, because Mitchell would be a running back. But man, when Mitchell left, I was like, dude, what are you doing leaving me here on this team?
We had fun, and I feel like we got the most out of it. And I will say my son, his first game for 7th grade is this evening. And I've been happy with his development in football because he's picked it up a lot more than I did, much faster. And he's very aggressive, doesn't take any big hits. But the team he was on before this, he never left the field. He was offense, defense, special teams. And I knew as he got older, it was going to be offense or defense. But this new team, they see the value in him, and he is the running back, the safety, the punter, the kicker, the kick returner, and the punt returner. So once again, he will never leave the field.
Yeah. So when did he start playing? When did your son start playing?
5U flag.
Really?
And I did not realize it rolled in at 8U to tackle till that season. They're like, oh, this year we jump into tackle. And I plan on waiting to 7th grade with him. But he had done so well and is very good at getting skinny at the right time and not taking big hits and, you know, delivering the hit. I said, as long as you don't get hurt, we'll start it. And he's excelled. He's done really, really well.
Do they coach kids differently now about like hitting with your helmet and things like that, like how we used to?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely proper technique, no spearing. There's way more water breaks than there used to be.
Yeah.
There is some coaches, and it's funny, you'll see some of the families show up, and most coaches in sports are players' coaches these days. There's not really that much yelling, that much cussing. The one thing I do like about football, the right team, those coaches don't change. And I think there's a need for that old school discipline and accountability and yelling and cussing and real world. It's a violent sport, and you go out there thinking it's rainbows, you're going to get lit up.
That's right. Yeah, it's my son has no interest in playing football. Like he is just not. He's starting soccer this year. That's his first team sport. He's in 2nd grade, and he's going to play soccer and he wants to play basketball, but he didn't want to do anything until this year. And he's still like, even playing soccer, he's like not really that into it. So your kids have been super into sports. Betty did not play sports until last year in the spring. She started playing volleyball and she really likes it, but she was in 5th grade when she started playing sports. And my kids, I think it was growing up with COVID was weird. Getting divorced was weird because then you have the 2 different households and that happened when they were 2 and 5. So it was during that time frame when things were just like, that divorce is happening the same exact time that's happening. COVID's happening. So they're not going to school, and like team sports, like it wasn't even on our radar. Like we're not going to go play there. I don't even know if they were happening or what happened during that time.
I mean, that's a heck of an adjustment period for anyone. So, I mean, I don't blame him. So.
Yeah. And I'm perfectly fine if he doesn't play football. I'm kind of like my dad's perspective on it. And I have guys that I played with. There's one guy in particular who I played with in college, and he went on to the NFL and won a Super Bowl, but had like 20 concussions in the NFL, you know, and you hear about all of that. And also just like folks that play, I think if you played 4 years of Division I college football, it takes a toll on you.
Absolutely.
And that was not even on my radar when I was growing up, even though my dad was telling me this stuff, but it wasn't like as much of a big of a deal as it is today, where you hear about all that stuff. But it's kind of like, if my son doesn't want to go like bang heads with someone, like I don't really care. I do want him to play sports though. Like I think sports in general are just like integral to learning about life, like you were saying.
Absolutely. There's so many parallels, and I will say sports is such a big part in our house. We have 3 boys, 15-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 5-year-old. 15-year-old is doing exceptionally well in baseball. He went to school a year early at the July birthday, and it was fine till about age 12, and all these kids started hitting puberty in front of him. And he looked like the smallest kid on the field for a long time, so he had to earn every single thing he got because he was always the underdog. But he's a heck of a catcher, really good outfielder, and now he's starting to pitch. And I was kind of happy with him not pitching just so he didn't mess up his arm, but he's doing really well at pitching, so that's probably inevitable.
Yeah.
And then my 5-year-old he has the same athletic abilities as the older 2. Maybe better. He is projected at 6'7" since day one. He is so muscular, and so he is a head taller than every kid.
Is he really?
He does perfect form push-ups. He can hit the baseball so hard. He can throw a perfect spiral.
Is he yours? Are you sure he's yours?
Yeah, I know. He's got the Swedish Nordic blood in him. He is going to be a monster. Even his older brothers are just, you can tell the envy because he's going to get the size and the abilities. So
He's got the Fred Ekmark genes.
I think he's going to dwarf my dad.
You
really
think so?
do. I truly picture Aaron Judge. And you're talking about banging heads in football. I think he's going to be good at any sport he wants to do, but I'm slowly starting to push him more towards baseball because there's a little more of a longevity and not hitting your head so much.
Yeah, that's true.
But he did play his first flag football game this past weekend and scored 4 touchdowns, threw a two-point conversion, and I would say pulled 85% of the flags against the other team.
Wow.
He was kind of a one-man show.
That's exciting. So you go to lots of sporting events?
That's all my wife and I do is practice in games.
Yeah. Do you have you coached over the years?
Briefly at times, but especially now, my schedule's just pretty unpredictable. So they get coaching at home, but I kind of let other coaches do it.
Your dad would he create like the all Ekmark team, or what was it? Like the all Madden team?
That became, what was that coach's name? Coach Stanley. Do you remember that? The all Stanley team?
I don't remember. I know there's something like that. Like, I thought your dad, because your dad was always up there, and he's like critiquing my play after every game. God bless him, because we were going 0-10, and he was a believer just like I was. Like, you guys are going to turn it around. This is going to be good, but you need to get back out there. So, is he involved as well with the grandkids?
Yes, he is. You'll probably see him one of these days. He comes down here and rides his bike 10 to 15 miles a day. Every day.
Good
Typically around 2 o'clock when it's as hot as it possibly can be is when he's out there. But
I know I've told you this before, but before I quit drinking, like, I was at the fattest I've ever been in my life, and I saw him at Williamson Park, and I was there with Betty, and she was probably like an infant or 1 year old or something. He's like, "You're looking pretty fat." Like, he will not like hold back, and still doesn't. And I appreciate that. Like, it was kind of like, yeah, you're right. I need to get my shit together.
absolutely. He was not blunt at times. Sometimes he sugar-coated stuff too much. I wish he would have said what he wanted to say. But yes, especially to my friends, he was very blunt. He had some words for Rob White, for Trevor. He had words for everybody. So, but he's doing well. He's actually, him and my mom are in Norway right now, in Sweden. He's going to see where his dad's from right now as we speak.
That's really cool.
So,
And you just had a sister, Leah?
I do.
Yeah. She's in the commercial real estate business, kind of.
PR.
Yeah, she does PR.
She has her own company, and she's doing really, really well. So,
I see her. I do some stuff at Woodrow. I have a scholarship that I created for Woodrow students, and she does all the PR for that. So I'll see her at least once a year at that thing.
very
And
cool.
normally real estate stuff. But yeah, so high school, I was doing, we really hung out playing football, because you played baseball also.
No.
Is that, or what else did you do?
Football.
Just,
I did golf for a year because I didn't want to do off-season football, and argued with Coach Bozarth the whole time and got accused of cheating.
dude.
But I had never played golf before. So,
Coach Bozarth, he just had it out for me. He wrote my mom a letter saying that I was a teacher's nightmare my freshman year of high school. And do you remember? I think he tried to date Bobek's mom.
I do remember that.
Oh, but I probably was a teacher's nightmare, because I was a class clown, all through high school. But he did not think I was funny, and he would kick me out of the class all the time. Oh, but when he started like trying to date Bobek's mom,
That is just hysterical. I mean, that's your worst nightmare come true. A football coach, one you don't like at that, trying to date your mom and showing up at your house, that's got to be so awkward.
he kicked me off the team and Mitchell Hill off the team when we were playing JV, and he was, I think, the head JV coach at the time. And I think Mitchell mouthed off to him, and he was just like, "You are off the team." I was like, if Mitchell's off the team, I'm off the team. It might have been the other way around. I can't remember. And we both walked off the field like, okay, we're kicked off the team. And then whoever else was in charge then, I can't remember if it was Coach Land, maybe.
That might have been it.
That might have been it. He's like, you're going to have to let them back on the team.
That's 30% of the team right there.
Oh, man. I feel bad, actually. I should call him and apologize. I was such an asshole to him. And then it's like, what are you going to do? Kick me off the team now? Like, you can't kick me off the team.
I decided to do golf because I knew you got to leave school, and I didn't want to do off-season football. I had never played golf my entire life, never picked up a club. And I think they just needed someone to fill the final spot. So I literally picked up golf clubs maybe 4 times prior to the first tournament. Very first tee box, there's about 100 people standing around watching me tee off.
Yeah.
I whiffed it on the front and heard the whole gallery laughing at me. So I did a little half swing and just punched it like 60 feet out just so I could get out of there. And then went on that tournament to shoot a 138. the first tournament. And then we had about a month off, and I actually got to play. And I mean, I was 6-putting every single hole. I mean, when you've never played golf, you're awful. So the next tournament...
I'm awful. So awful, I quit when I was 30, and I was playing often.
Well, the next tournament, I ended up shooting a 104, a legitimate 104.
That's
mean,
awesome.
I mean, and so then he went on to berate me in front of everyone, saying we don't tolerate cheating here. Nobody can shave 30 strokes off their score. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I whiffed the ball half the time. I would hit it 8 feet every time I hit the ball. Once you start striking it a little bit, you get a little bit better. So
yeah, I feel like he kind of had it out for us. There's something going on there, and I hope he's doing okay though. I hope he turned it around.
I mean, our group of people, I feel like we embodied Woodrow and got the most out of it. And I mean, we did some dumb things, but I think we represented the school really well. And like, I remember, do you remember Jindrat, the woodshop teacher?
Yeah.
I needed classes, so I ended up taking not woodshop, but this like IT class that he had. I had like AutoCAD.
Yeah.
And then he asked me and Merritt and Andy Robbins and Trevor. There was like 8 of us, and he called us his dream team because he used to do competitions years before, but then the school got so bad there was nothing but gang people in his class, so they wouldn't do it. So we ended up going to competitions, and we won state. And
what were you doing?
Basically, you were given an idea, and you had to develop like a little AutoCAD drawing and like draft it out, and then they would give you different kind of robotics things. And we got to build a RC car in that class and got to race it, and we won that in the competition.
That's cool.
And we almost got in a lot of trouble there too, because we were staying in, I want to say, the Holiday Inn in Fort Worth, and we all had fake IDs. And so we stayed there Friday night, and the competition was Saturday morning. There was a hotel bar, and we went down there, and we're drinking. And the following day, we showed up at the competition and realized a bunch of the guys that were in there were the teachers from other schools.
Oh, really?
And they were all staring at us, and no one said anything, but they were very aware of who we were and where we had been the night before. There's no way that would fly these days, but it was a different time.
When did you drink for the first time?
I want to say 16.
That's pretty good.
With it's either 15 or 16. And
like sophomore year?
Yes, and so that was Clark was the one. No, it was my freshman year. It was definitely my freshman year. Clark started talking to Melissa Robbins and Madeline.
I used to hang out with those girls.
And he hung out with them one night, and they'd given him 240s. And so that Friday night or whatever, he came over and we drank in each a hot, it was either OE or Schlitz. And that was enough to make me enjoy it. And then I remember the following weekend, Madeline and Melissa came and got both of us. I said, well, one of each. So I had a 40 of OE and a 40 of Schlitz.
Did you, could you like go out? Did your parents let you go out to Williamson like as a freshman?
They didn't know what I was doing.
And for those that don't know, like everybody hung out at Williamson Park when we were on Lakewood Park now, but on Williamson Road over there. And I mean, like every Friday and Saturday night, you'd go down there and there would just be the whole parking lot would be full of cars. And we'd all just, I did not get to go that much because I was grounded through most of high school. But I say we all, but everybody except for me would go there. And every time I went there, it was just like, oh, party. It's like a party, like the Moon Tower party in Dazed and Confused every weekend.
That's pretty much how it was.
And the cops wouldn't, I mean, they would show up sometimes, but a lot of times they wouldn't. And, right?
We had to get creative where we had about 5 different spots we would go to. And there was one cop at one point in time that ended up having to get transferred out because it seemed like his main goal every weekend was to come find us and issue tickets. And if there was no alcohol there yet, I mean, he would give people jaywalking tickets if they were standing in the street. I mean, he was trying to make our life hell. So to the point where the parents went to the city council and got that guy transferred out. And he still came back every now and then.
He did.
But it was, and I was thinking about it when I said I don't think I've been into this neighborhood before.
The cemetery?
No, and I swear you were there that night. Do you remember the point right over by the bridge that crosses over the lake? There was kind of that peninsula that went out, and there was a dirt road that went back.
Yeah.
And there was one night where there was probably 10 carloads of people there. Everyone's having fun, and a helicopter appeared above us, a police helicopter. Were you there that night?
I don't think so.
So everyone freaked out.
I went to the point, though.
And all of a sudden, the spotlight from the helicopter is just shining down on everyone in their vehicles. And everyone ran to a different car and took off. And I got in a car with Scott Donaghy, who was in his old Suburban.
Maybe I was there. I don't know.
Nyla. And I swear it was you. I could be wrong, but
no, it could have been me. Like, I don't remember a lot of things that happened in high school.
So basically, 10 cars dispersed. Yeah. Everyone went a different direction. There's really only one way to go, one way in and out. But as all the cars broke in the parking lot, the helicopter stayed on our Suburban of all the cars to pick. So we didn't know what to do. So we went up and drove across the lake. And what is that, Buckner over there?
Yeah.
And we made a left and went down that hill, and there's a bridge you can go under. And I had a moment of genius right as we were getting to there, and I'm like, roll down the window and throw out all the alcohol because they couldn't see us because we were going under that bridge. We threw it all out right there in just a split second. The car never really stopped. And we kept going, and we got back on Mockingbird with just a spotlight on us. We didn't know what to do. We're driving like 25 miles an hour down it. And then out of nowhere, Matt busted out in his truck out of the neighborhood.
It's like, thank God.
And all of a sudden, he pulls up next to us. Instead of just going forward, all of a sudden, he got in the mix. So we all got pulled over. All of a sudden, like 8 cops came from the north of us, and a bunch came behind us. And we got pulled over, and they wanted the alcohol, they wanted the drugs, and there was nothing to be found. And they said, is any of you sober enough to drive home? And Nyla's like, I am. And they looked at her and they said, fine, don't let him drive. And we got in the car and drove off.
Dude, I do not remember that, but it sounds like it could have happened to me. Right. So do you think I was there?
I think it was you.
We'll have to ask Nyla. I haven't talked to her in a long time.
I don't even know how I remember her name. It's been so long since I've
I haven't heard her name in a long time. Yeah, there were a few. It's just like every time I did anything, I would get caught or come close to it. And the times that I did get caught, they happened back to back my sophomore year. And then I was grounded, like, do not drink. So I did not drink alcohol until probably like the summer before my senior year. And I would drink a little bit senior year, but I stopped hanging out at Williamson and like with that whole crowd because I couldn't, or I would have gotten sent to military school. Like, that was a real issue that I was facing. Like, if I got caught drinking again, I was going to military school and was not going to be allowed to play football. So I was holding it together and it was pretty easy to quit drinking when I did. And I was just like, this is who I'm going to be. I can't drink or I'm going to get in trouble until senior year. And then it's like, whatever. I was into college and I started again. But while you were doing like the AutoCAD thing and all of that, were you in like art class with Mr. Chapa and those elective classes? I was doing variation. So I was doing musical, theater arts, choir, all of that. And that became like my main social circle, like junior and senior year. But I would occasionally cross over with you guys because you guys were like wilder than the choir kids were.
It was always fun to kind of go to those big parties where it would be kind of the assimilation of the both two different crowds and seeing how they interacted. It was always a lot of fun.
Yeah. I was definitely a tweener just because I played football, so I could go hang out with either group. But yeah, man, it was great. Zandy Smith made a documentary called One Night
Really?
when we were in, it would have been the summer before my senior year. And we used to always hang out at Java Jones, that coffee shop, and we would just sit there and smoke cigarettes was our deal. And it filmed, I mean, it's all of us hanging out, talking about life and being silly and chain smoking cigarettes, everybody there. And that was the thing. But I just rewatched it. And it's pretty fun to go back and watch.
I can remember going to the coffee shops with y'all and stuff, so I didn't completely, I definitely didn't did show choir. That was not my thing. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I love doing that.
You've always had the energy to entertain a group of people and kind of fearless getting up there with your guitar or your stand-up bass. Or I always admired that about you and John and just all the guys and all the performances, because y'all were just all the time we used to spend over in that Gaston apartment.
Oh, yeah.
And then just to watch y'all go out there and sing and, you know, whatever Slobberbone would be playing or whatever, it was just always so interesting to me because I knew y'all are just like me, but y'all had a whole different side to you that I just could never fathom how y'all did all the traveling and, you know, getting to go to these big festivals and playing in front of a couple thousand people. That just sounds like a nightmare to me, but I always admired it.
Yeah, it's really strange how it happened. And I just got the bug. Like, John was playing in a band with some other guys, and I saw that. And they were all, it was like Knox and Steve Burt and Trey Pendergrass and John were all in a band. And I went over there to Knox's basement and saw them play one time. And I saw them like jamming in the basement. And I didn't know how to play any instrument, but I was in choir with them all and everything. And like, man, I want to do that so bad. I would just like have never been more obsessed about anything in my life probably than I was with music. Like starting then, like I'm getting a bass, I'm starting a band. And it's funny, yesterday I just bought, because I finished recording a new album with John, and he and I played in our bands forever, like from high school until, I mean, when I had kids, it started tapering down. So that was probably 2014, 15, but we still played almost once a month probably until COVID happened. And like around then it got less and less. And, but I've been writing and recording albums for the last 5 years. I haven't really played any shows, but I've enjoyed going to the studio. I used to hate going to the studio. All I wanted to do was play shows. And then I went kind of into like hermit recluse mode. And I've been playing this year for the first time in a few years. And we played a couple shows in the last 5 years, but not really. And yesterday I've got another show coming up because I just decided I want to play again. And I went to Guitar Center and bought a PA system that I just set up today, actually. And like, I've got to, even though it's just me and I haven't started a new band with this new stuff, like I'm now with technology, like getting backing tracks and putting it through the PA, and then I can play along with it and sing and be a one-man show and do it that way. And I've got the show coming up on September 27th. And yesterday I was thinking to myself, like, what I've been doing is just me and my acoustic guitar go get on stage. And it's really nerve-wracking to do that versus be on stage with Pedigo and we're playing in our band that practices all the time, or at least like played so many shows we don't have to practice anymore. But like kind of starting over. And I went to Guitar Center yesterday to buy this PA, and I felt like the same nervousness kind of that I did in high school. Like, gosh, I think I'm going to go do this, but I've got to like actually, it's easy to be lazy after doing everything that John and I did for decades. And now it's like, if I'm going to do this, this is not The Boys Named Sue where I can be lazy because we played 1,000 shows. Like, this is something new and I've got to treat it that way. Like, and I've got to like practice every day and hone this craft if I want to get on stage and not be nervous and like know what I'm doing, you know?
Absolutely.
So I'm kind of like experiencing, when I was at Guitar Center yesterday, it felt like this is like the same energy I felt in high school, where I'm nervous and I don't really know what I'm doing because I'm playing guitar. I'm not playing bass. I'm the lead singer. It's just me. I don't have a band. There's all these things that are different that I've got to kind of go back to square one and build a foundation of like, if this is going to be good, which I want it to be good. And I don't want it to just be like, the bass player from Boys Named Sue is playing some songs on acoustic guitar, but actually make it like, this is cool, then I got to do the work. So that just started.
Absolutely. I mean, it's got to be, once you get there and once you finish that first show, so much more fulfilling than potentially doing it in front of 1,000 people the normal way.
For sure.
I mean, it's challenging yourself, doing something new. And that's kind of where I try to do stuff now.
Yeah. And then it's it's like the pursuit of excellence.
Absolutely.
Like be great if you're going to do it. Don't go up there and half-ass it.
That's where I find myself with my kids. Like, I see the potential in them so much. I'm like, man, it's right there. You just got to keep going and pushing through. But it's a 12-year-old. It's a 15-year-old. They're very hard to motivate at times.
Yeah.
So,
and it almost works against you if you do.
Absolutely. I mean, I have not changed what I have told my 15-year-old as far as this training and everything I've suggested for at least 5 years, I would say. But it took him going to high school last year and seeing juniors and seniors having success, getting a scholarship, getting to go play ball. So all of a sudden over the summer, he started eating around the clock. When he eats a peanut butter and jelly sandwich every night at about 11 o'clock. He put on about 16 pounds of muscle this summer.
Yeah.
He got after it. I was really proud of him. But once again, the message did not change out of me. He just finally got the experience, saw it firsthand, and he was ready to do it. So
that happened with my cousin's kid. I'll call him my nephew, and he just got into high school and is starting that, playing football, and just got obsessed with it overnight. But that's also the secret to everything in life is nobody, I mean, all these helpers are here telling us things, but are you going to listen to them? And do you have that motivation and the discipline to go follow through? The first thing is probably the toughest. Sometimes, like, I was very set in my own ways. Like, I'm going to go figure this out on my own a lot. But now I like to really lean on teachers, and as an older, wiser human being, that is a great way to shortcut things. But having that discipline and the passion and desire to do something like click is something that is very elusive until that happens. And then if that doesn't, and then I think like for a lot of people, unfortunately, I don't think it happens. And I feel lucky that I've had it click for me on a number of things, like not that many, but probably like I can list 10 things that I've like in this life I've pursued with great passion, you know, and that is the secret to life. Because if you do pursue something with great passion and you go learn from experts on the subject, then like you can do whatever you want to do, right?
Absolutely. And just with YouTube enabled, even if you're interested in it, you at least can see the work behind it, and it shortcuts so many things. That's when I get pissed at my kids when they're watching stupid stuff on YouTube. I'm like, there's a million things you could learn on this. And you're watching memes, meme after meme after meme. And just
Geometry Dash is what my son does. Yeah, daughter's into the memes. But yeah, the sports is just a good way to get them away from that.
It is.
I force them to go on bike rides. I mean, and they want me to go. My daughter's getting to the point where she's like, I want to ride my bike to Juice Land. It's like, not in 5 o'clock traffic, you're not riding to Juice Land. But, or find a friend to go bike ride with you, and then I would allow it, but not riding your bike by yourself like that to a shopping center across Mockingbird in 5 o'clock traffic.
We have a very similar intersection like that right down the street from us, and that's where the McDonald's, the Sonic, the 7-Eleven, everything is on the other side of that. And if you don't got a friend, you're not going over there.
Yeah, that's kind of my rule. I said, if you want to, but I will ride with her on Sundays. So that's our deal on Sundays. Mm-hmm. She and I will ride to Juice Land, and it's really fun. But my son he's in second grade, but when I was in second grade, all I wanted was like a Haro with mag wheels, and I'm watching like Rad the movie and just like jumping off of retaining walls in my neighbor's backyard. And Mitchell Hill and I and Greg Boards, the three of us, would ride our bikes nonstop every day. It's all I wanted to do. Now it's like, son, let's go for a bike ride. Can we just do one loop, which is from here down to the cul-de-sac and back? It's like 3 loops. We're doing 3 loops. Oh, do I have to? It's like, really? But kids are different, man.
No, my kids love to ride, but I've kind of set the bar high where we'll go somewhere fun to ride or whatever. So,
oh yeah.
Now if it's just in the neighborhood, this is boring. The park by our house, boring. I mean, I always seek out something better, and that's kind of my fault. We're finding the coolest park or the coolest trail to ride on.
So when you graduated from Woodrow, you went to Colorado? Is that right? Did you get recruited by places to play football, or how did that go down?
No. The only big school that reached out to me was Kansas State, and they just asked me to walk on, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I didn't want to go to Manhattan. So I did want to play football. It wasn't until I went to high school and I was in Young Life, and we went up and skied up in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I had never been skiing prior to that, and I fell in love with the mountains.
That's the same thing happened to me.
And I said, I have to go to school up here.
Yeah.
And I don't know how Fort Lewis became the first school. Oh. No, I don't know how I picked there in Durango, but I knew I could play football, and they had all the activities that I wanted there. I didn't realize there was no women there. Soon found out when I got up there, but I was there for a year, and then I transferred to Western State because they had a hotel and resort management program, and then you could do an outdoor emphasis. There was a lot of things that appealed to me. I thought I was going to be able to play golf or snowboard every day if I worked at some kind of resort or something within the hospitality community, but all my friends that graduated in front of me couldn't get a job, or it was all entry level, and didn't motivate me to do it, and they were doing construction still. So I was already doing construction, so I just kind of decided to remain enrolled in school, but not really participate in school. It wasn't the best plan. I was an art minor. I went to a lot of my art classes. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and I got within 1 semester of graduating, decided I didn't want to go anymore. I just stopped going, but remained enrolled. That was a very poor decision.
Were you partying a lot?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you party a lot in high school, would you say?
I would, but I always got my stuff done. I mean, it never affected me.
Yeah.
In any kind of real world way other than maybe a hangover. But beyond that, there was no consequences. College, I definitely drank, definitely smoked a lot. And I think back on it, yes, I partied a lot, but I didn't even really do a whole lot. Like a lot of times I would sit there and skip art class to sit there and draw at my house.
Yeah.
I look back and wonder what I was thinking back then. There was zero drive, there was zero motivation, and ideally I was looking for a B in class. I never wanted an A, didn't really want a C. I'd just do the bare minimum to just fly right down the middle.
Yeah. I think it was the weed.
I think so too. Well,
I never, I smoked weed when I was in college. I never really did in high school. I think I tried it one time. Do you remember that?
I do not recall that.
I think it was at Megan Hewitt's house.
Okay.
She had a party, and I did it there. And I feel like your class were the culprits of that. Like, my class did not dabble in marijuana, and that was a dangerous drug to me when I was a senior in high school. Like, okay, I guess I'll do it. It was Donaghy or somebody. It was somebody like you guys had a lot of riffraff in your class.
We
Like
did.
you, so, but I did it out of peer pressure probably and curiosity, and I puked my brains out. Like it was not good. College, I went through a couple year stint of like where I would do it a little bit, but yeah, that's like the opposite of how I wanted to feel, and it would make me kind of lazy. So, I mean, I drank a shitload, but the alcohol did not make me lazy. It kind of like fired me up. But the weed, I can see how that just makes you stay home and do art instead of going to art class.
I mean, we did. I will say I was kind of the opposite. The weed motivated me.
Really?
We did a lot of hiking in Colorado. Go get the bag of weed, and then you'd look outside and say, that mountain. Don't have a map, don't have anything. We're going to the top.
Okay.
And we'd go do that. If we didn't have any weed, we probably weren't going to climb up that mountain.
Yeah.
But no, alcohol was fun for a long time, but it never really got me what I wanted. Or it did in the beginning, I would say. I'm not sure when that changed. It's really hard to say. It's not that I wasn't enjoying doing it, but I never got those initial feelings that I recall so well in high school, per se. I mean, I can remember vividly in high school getting a 6-pack of Keystone Tall Boys.
Yeah.
And that was all I needed. And that was the perfect amount to not do anything crazy, but have a blast and, loosen my tongue and be willing to say whatever I wanted and kind of be a different person, be a little more adventurous.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, I became to the point, I won't say I was a binge drinker. I didn't drink every day by any means. It's just when I drank very fast. And that's what it evolved to, unfortunately. And it would go from having fun for 45 minutes to tomorrow.
Yeah.
Too many times. And then you got to piece it all together. And it didn't happen that way every time. And I guess that's probably how I could justify I didn't have a drinking problem, because I'd say I don't drink every day. And it doesn't happen every time, but especially as I got older, ended up meeting my wife, and then she would say, I don't want you to have more than 2 drinks because you got to drive us home. And I would constantly push that line, And looking back on it, how dangerous and stupid that was. But I always had an excuse. I could always justify it.
How'd you meet your wife?
First time I met her was actually I guest played for a softball team Merritt was on. And it was a bunch of people that he worked with, and Jennifer worked at the same building as him. So her and a couple other girls came to say
Did they work together?
For briefly, very briefly. Like when I met her, she had put in her 2-week notice, and her and like 3 other girls were quitting that company. And then 2 weeks later, they had a party at Cowboys in Arlington for them. So I was like, I'm going to that party. So that's where I met her.
How old were you then?
Jeez. About 28.
Yeah.
27, somewhere right in then.
And Jennifer was pretty good at like settling you down. Would you say that? Like,
absolutely. Nobody else had ever, I had been able to manipulate, I would say, every relationship.
You would get shit from us about how strict she was with you. Mm-hmm. I believe. This is all a foggy haze to me and I was probably not the leader of that, because you and I just were, I wasn't like, you and I weren't super close where I would be giving you shit about that, but I remember hearing people give you shit about it. Did you move kind of to the suburbs at that point?
Yes. So I was living with Merritt when I met her, and then she was getting a new apartment about a month, 2 months later, and the timing was there, and I could tell Merritt and Chris kind of wanted to do their own thing, and I felt like the third wheel, so I was like, all right, we'll move in together.
Yeah.
And looking back on it, I handled it wrong, and I would say a lot of it was probably me drinking and just avoiding conflict, but kind of what you're talking about, I would say some of my friends from them growing up gave her a harder time than I realized.
Yeah.
Because she was changing me, and in a better way, making me more responsible.
She was.
And I did not see it at that point in time other than someone's holding me accountable, and I was not a big fan of it.
None of us could see that at that point in time because we were living, we were partying really hard. And anyone that was getting in the way of my partying, I would just like not want to be around.
Yeah.
You know? And then the group that would not judge me for my partying, I would be inseparable from them. And that's how like addiction works, right?
Absolutely.
And then you think it's normal. And then I would get in my head like that person is lame. Like I'm not hanging out with that person. Now, having not drank for 9 of the last 10 years, I mean, I'm that person to a lot of people now, you know, and I recognize it. I kind of forget it sometimes, but it's just like once you open your eyes to it and see the light, it's like, oh my God, what was I thinking? But when you're in it, man, it just seems like if you're not doing this, something's the matter with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy like how deep in it we were, and everyone's like fine and high functioning and have jobs and showing up, and we weren't like getting arrested or getting thrown into jail like maybe sometimes, or we weren't getting into fights. It was fun, and we always had fun, and it was a lot of fun.
That's how it was, and that's unfortunately for me. I mean, luckily for me, I never had any big consequences. Like you talked about how you always got in trouble and always got caught. I always left right before the cops showed up, or just saw there was trouble to be had and got out of the situation right before it got bad. I always avoided it. So there was never any major setbacks other than just
Fred. You had like the not get in trouble with Fred radar.
Yes.
Probably. I wouldn't want your dad to be getting mad at me.
One of these days I'll have to ask my parents if they truly knew what I was up to, or had it more of an inkling than they let on, because I don't think they would have completely ignored it.
Yeah.
But I was pretty effective at my scheming back then, and
yeah, those were crazy times. So when did you leave Colorado and come back to Dallas?
So we did a lot of backcountry hiking, snowboarding. Cell phones weren't what they were back then in early 2000, and no one ever got really hurt, but we had some really close calls of people, big rocks tumbling down and things like that, and I figured somebody should know something. So a EMT class came about at my college, and I was like, that sounds interesting. So within 5 minutes of that class, said, I'm going to be a paramedic. That's what I was born to do. And then got my EMT basic and intermediate, and then started learning all about what paramedics, and unfortunately, the most you're ever going to make is like $26 an hour. Like, if you want to be a paramedic, you can be a fireman, maybe make a little bit more, but still all those guys have second and third jobs. And I realized nursing might be a good opportunity for me. Even though I came from a long line of nurses, I had no idea what nursing entailed. So I decided to move back here, and that was right around 2001, 2002.
Yeah.
And became an ER tech and started applying at nursing schools. I had no idea this was one of the most competitive places in the country. And my B grades were a big factor at that point in time. So many people wanted to be nurses. So there would be anywhere from 800 to 1,200 people applying for 25 spots. And if you don't have a 4.0 to begin with, you're not going to even make the first cut.
Really?
So there were so many people. It wasn't experience. It wasn't written recommendations. It wasn't any of that anymore. It was strictly grades, and then we'll go from there. And so I got really frustrated because every school had a different requirement. So I would meet the requirement but not get in, and then check another school and like, oh, we'll take this class, or if you take 8 hours with us, you'll get a point and you'll be able to go to school here. And it never worked.
Yeah.
So finally I ended up getting in to school, and at that point in time I had been an ER tech for a little while, And when I graduated in 2007, is that right? 2010, I became a dad and a nurse on the same weekend.
Really?
In the same hospital. Delivered the baby on Monday morning, put my wife and the mother-in-law in the car, and they drove off the baby, and I went to clinical rotations in the ICU. And did the ICU for about 3 years, then went back to the ER, and I've spent a long part of time in the ER. Many, many years.
You know, paternity leave is a thing now?
I do.
That's like a very big new cultural phenomenon that's just happened. Because 10 years ago when I became a parent, or 11 years ago, like I was working in the delivery room. And then, I was on a plane that week, like to go to a meeting, like, and it just wasn't even on my radar. Like there's no paternity leave. I'm working commission only job and like by myself. Like I got to go pay for this baby. That's my job. Man, it's cool. Just saying like how you couldn't manipulate your way with Jennifer, right? Like I definitely manipulated my way through with Gina through all that time. And she was trying her best to get me to settle down, and I would have spurts of it, but then I just was going back into it all the time. But that's what it was, and I never really thought about it like that. But
I wonder sometimes why my wife stayed with me. It would have been much easier to walk away. And granted, we had kids together, so it'd be somewhat complicated, but it would have been easier to start over and not have to deal with all these problems.
Yeah.
And build the trust back up and stuff. And same as you, yes, I played the good part at times and did do well at times, but behind the scenes, I was doing my own thing way too much. And ultimately, it caught up with me. Luckily, it didn't cost me my job or anything along those lines, but it took me, basically, I stopped drinking. I finally came to the realization I shouldn't drink anymore. I went to a few AA meetings, and I will say they've remodeled those places since then, and maybe it's just hyperbole of my brain, but when I walked in there, that place hadn't been updated in about 45 years, and all the smoke stains were on the wall, and it was the saddest, most depressing looking place. And everyone's telling me about happiness and sobriety. I'm like, this is not happiness.
Yeah.
And obviously I had the wrong attitude walking in there, and went to a few more meetings and hated it. And then ultimately just decided I wasn't going to drink anymore.
Yeah.
And didn't drink for quite a while. And I ended up wrecking my mountain bike, wrecking really hard on the concrete. I was flying and fell off this wall.
Where?
It was near my house in this new development they were building at the time. And
were you jumping a retaining wall?
Pretty much. And I thought it was a mirror image all the way around. And it went from up here and it dropped down about 5 feet to another area. And so I eyeballed it a couple times, and I was going to jump off the area I was thinking about. And then I looked to the right more and didn't look. I did not realize there was a massive bush behind that wall.
Oh, God.
And I jumped, and the bush was too long to jump over the bush, so my bike caught, and I went flying over the handlebars and came crashing down on the concrete, and had a massive, I was really concerned that I had bruised my kidney. I had such a big bruise here, and my hip hurt. I landed right on my hip. It hurt bad.
Like hematoma?
Yeah, and I had a big old road rash here, and
do you have scar tissue on your hip from that?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
It was, luckily it was going so fast, I kind of skipped, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And ultimately, just did the traditional Tylenol, ibuprofen, things like that for a few days, and I was miserable on that day 3. And I had never really taken pills. I was never been interested in pills. And I remembered that there was hydrocodone in the cabinet, a big old bottle that had been sitting there for a while. So I took 1 or 2 and got through the day. Took a couple more the following day, and next thing I knew, kind of those warm, fuzzy feelings I got from drinking, all of a sudden I realized it can be found in this alcohol, or in this pill. And since I said I won't drink anymore, I'm not lying. And it kind of sent me down a wrong path. And I will say I even kind of developed some rules in my head of where I can do this and can't do this and where I had gone wrong with drinking. As long as I don't cross those lines, I don't endanger anyone, I can kind of do this. And I mean, it was crazy thoughts in my head at the time looking back on it, but it went really well doing that for a while until I started pushing those boundaries further and being very cranky and, couldn't wait for the family to go to sleep just so I could take this pill because I said to myself I wouldn't take it in front of them. And it finally...
In secret, I would imagine.
Yes, and finally one day Jennifer caught on to it, and she knew something was up. She didn't know what was happening, but she knew something was up. And I thought about it. I knew I had to say something because I couldn't avoid this conversation. So I thought, I'll just tell her I had a drink. I haven't drank in a long time. I can just say that. So I told her that. She was not happy. I was like, well, she took that much better than I thought. We got home. We had been in Fort Worth, and we came back, and she got really upset when we got at the house. Really, really, and threatened me with a whole bunch of things, which I deserved, because I had done her so wrong for so long. And for a brief moment in my life, I just decided it was time to come clean completely for the first time ever. And it's probably a good thing I said what I did then, because I probably wouldn't have had the courage a minute later, but I just unloaded on her what had been going on the last year. She wasn't ready for it. She was quite taken back.
Were you like, I actually didn't drink here? That
didn't really matter at that point in time, but I tried to take that. I'm like, well, the good news is I didn't drink. But here's what I've been doing. And she asked me what I wanted to do. And at that moment, I said, I think I need to go to rehab. I never had once considered it, thought of it, anything like that. But I knew what it was about. And I could see the writing on the wall of what had happened in my life up to that point. And I knew if I didn't make that choice, there's no way I could be involved in this life anymore.
Yeah.
So that was a challenging time.
Man. Yeah, I've thankfully never had any issues with opioids, but that is when I went to rehab for alcohol, the people there dealing with the opioids, the coming off of that is really hard. And I know plenty of people who've struggled with it. So how long are you sober now?
Man, I'm coming up on 9 years.
That's amazing, dude.
So
congratulations.
Thank you.
I love having you in my life as a sober buddy. I know it's unspoken much of the time, but just seeing you on social media and then phone calls from time to time to check in, that means a lot to me. And a big reason I stay sober now is just I want to be a sober person for my friends that are trying to stay sober, or for my friends who are struggling, and just lead by example and just hold on to it, because that helps me, because having people like you in my life helps me. So I want to be that person for other people too.
I understand.
And that's for my kids, so they grow up and their dad is not the guy that gets drunk at weddings, I don't want to be that. I might not be as fun as I used to be. Definitely not. But, and it's funny, a lot of my because you get a new social circle when you become sober. And a lot of my social circles at work, just because I spend a lot of time working, and but almost a lot of these folks that I know now, they never knew me when I used to drink. So the one guy at a dinner not too long ago, he's like, yeah, Ward, he was describing me. Ward's like the Tony Robbins guy. And I still see myself as the hard partying crazy motherfucker from 2002. And that's always in front of, like, if I'm thinking of myself, like, it goes back there real fast. And to hear someone call me the Tony Robbins guy, it's like, this is awesome. Like, I'm a different, like, I have, like, changed, and it's possible.
Absolutely.
And you can change that identity, and I can still have love for those times. And like, we had fun, and like, thank God I didn't die, and it is what it is. But like, that person in a way does have to die.
Absolutely.
And that's a painful death when it's occurring. And then to get on the other side of it and be able to look back on that version of myself with compassion and forgiveness, and know that I was just trying my best. And I thankfully did have a lot more good times than bad, I would say, if you tally up all the hours spent doing that. And that's a gift, and I have gratitude for that. But I'm very happy to be on this side. And it's day to day, though. It's like, it's pretty easy most days, but some days I'm like, maybe I should just have a glass of wine with dinner, and I got to try to talk myself out of it. So
I just think right now is not the ideal time with my injury to my shoulder, because I can't work out the way, and I'm actually kind of skinnier right now than I want to be, because I've never hurt myself ever. Rolled my ankle, that's it. But I've never
what did you do? I forgot.
Shoulder separation. I have a grade 3 AC joint shoulder separation. I wrecked really hard. Again, on my mountain bike.
On your mountain bike, yeah.
Yes, but luckily it's a different outcome this time. And this is actually a worse injury than that one.
Yeah, you're like, no opioids, please.
Yes, I know. So no, I didn't take a single hydrocodone or anything like that. But I realize I've always aligned myself with the right kind of person for who I am at that point in time. So if you want to find someone who drinks hard, you can find that group of people that will not judge you and will welcome you into that circle. Now I'm trying to find a different group of people that identify as high-functioning, dedicated, just a drive for life. And that's just their energy, their workout, their diet, their business, their family life, everything. And I'm trying to change some things. And just like you, I would never give back that time that I did, because I know that developed me into the person that I am. I wish I could make a few changes along the way, but by and large, I loved that time of my life. But I realized all the potential and the opportunities that were in front of me, and I was unwilling because I wanted to sit on the couch and smoke a joint.
Yeah.
And that person truly had to die for this next person. And by no means am I where I want to be. But I'm a little frustrated that as a 46-year-old guy, this is stuff I should have been doing when I was 26, 28.
Yeah.
And having to play catch up. But that's okay, because I think it took all those experiences for me to be able to do what I'm currently doing.
And talk about that, and then I also want to talk about your woodworking stuff. It's kind of chronological. Talk about woodworking first, right?
Yes.
So did you stop being a nurse and then you started?
Not by choice. So
okay.
When you are a doctor, a nurse, a lawyer, a pilot, anything where you have a professional license, if you come clean on sobriety or you get a DWI or something like that, you got to disclose it. Like as a nurse, whenever you renew your license every few years, it asks you
like if you go to rehab.
Yes, if you go to rehab or if you have a DWI, any alcohol-related offense or substance abuse.
This is such a dumb...
I brought you something.
What did you bring me? This is such a dumb rule, man. I tried to get life insurance, and I couldn't get life insurance. What is that?
No nicotine.
Oh.
Just try it.
I don't want to do it without the nicotine. The only reason I do it is for the nicotine.
I know. I got the same problem, too.
I'll try it. What are they called?
Zenzi or something.
Inzi.
Yes.
Okay, so it's energy pouches.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, I'm gonna try
a
one.
little bit of caffeine. It's just a different taste. That one's kind of a candy flavored one.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
But
Try this out. Should I try it with the nicotine?
Sure.
Do you do nicotine still?
Not really. When I'm doing the patch, I've phased it out after a long, long time. So I've been doing these and some other.
You still use the patch or no?
Not right now.
No.
But
That's good.
still doing it every maybe 3 or 4 days, like just to hang on a little bit.
Okay.
I know I just can't fully kick it. I'm just being a bitch.
There's lots of research that says nicotine's not that bad if the tobacco's not there.
Yes. I've read those same things too. So
I quit it for 90 days or something in 42 days. And I was like, fuck this. Like, I quit everything else.
the next time I fully quit, I can't ever do it again. I've just realized.
For sure. No.
So
it's like alcohol for me. Like it's just better that I don't fuck with it. But nicotine doesn't have that negative impact on me.
Yeah.
Now that they've created these pouches.
So what was this? So
I was just going to comment. Like, it's one thing if you get a DWI. I can kind of get that. Going to rehab, the fact that that has like negative repercussions on you, and it did for me because I couldn't get life insurance. Mm-hmm. I probably could now.
You can. They want, I think, 5 years or 3 years.
Yeah, I'm not even 2 years sober now. So if I were telling the truth, I mean, I haven't been to rehab in 10 years, but if they ask that question, which they will, have you ever been to rehab? Yes. And when's the last time you drank? Then, boom, you don't get it. If I had kept drinking and doing drugs,
you'd have coverage.
I would have coverage. It's so fucking stupid.
I know.
And it's like, it's why people have so much like fear and shame around dealing with their addiction problems. It's like, if I go to an AA meeting, people are going to think I'm an addict and they're not going to trust me.
Exactly.
And that is a really fucked up thing, and something that I like have never really talked about on here, but we were talking about before we got started. It's like, it is a purpose of this podcast is to say, you can take full ownership of this and be okay. Mm-hmm. Maybe someone doesn't want to work with me because I used to party really hard, but the people that quit or even just are trying to quit, like that takes so much like courage and discipline and all of these great traits versus somebody that's just living in it with the blinders on and scoffing at AA meetings or thinking that's for where losers go and all that kind of thing. And it's this real problem.
That was the attitude I had walking in there. There is no doubt about that.
Me too.
I mean, I was pretty upset walking into AA once my wife went that way and I had to walk in there by myself, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but it started off pretty rough because you had to walk through kind of the hospital unit where the people were coming off and having seizures or just withdrawal symptoms. And there was a whole bunch of people who had been taking heroin, and they looked just like zombies. And I was walking through there just like, where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
I am not like these people.
Yeah.
And so then went and met everyone else, and I was supposed to be there 30 days or 31 days. After 27, insurance said I was doing too well, so I had to leave. But
insurance, man.
It was after I finally calmed down after a few days and really started to absorb what they were saying and understanding what the steps are about and things like that. It had a profound effect on me. And I remember being in there, seeing all these people and realizing I know what they looked like 2 weeks ago when they walked in here and how they look now. Like, I'm so happy for everyone in here. Like, we're all not going to go back. And then they were saying only about 30% of y'all will stay sober. And I was like, really? And then right before I left, I was talking to one of the counselors. He's like, man, it ain't 30. It's probably about 11%.
11.
I was like, no. And
Dude, it's got to be lower than 11.
It
I would
probably
think
is.
it's like 5
I mean,
or 3.
they might eventually get it, but I mean, very few people go once and they're good. And I mean, it only was because I did so much work. I did a outpatient clinic after that, and then I did 90 meetings in 90 days and shared a lot of feelings that I never thought I would talk about. And it kind of really made me comfortable with the situation.
Yeah.
But to kind of go where we were first saying is, as a nurse, when you renew your license, I ask you a question. Have you had any alcohol-related offenses, anything like that? Have you been to rehab? I decided to answer truthfully. And it put me in a program called TPAP, Texas Peer Assistance, something, whatever. Basically, for the first year, you're not allowed to administer a single narcotic in any capacity. For the first 6 months, you basically have to have another nurse shadow you. So finding an employer who's going to hire you where you can't give half the medication and you have to have 2 nurses to do one job is very challenging. So I won't say the hospital I work for, but they said, oh, we'll work for you. We're going to get you a job, and it might not be exactly what you want, but we'll keep you going. They tried for a while, and that stretched out for about 4 months. And finally, they said you can ultimately be more or less a secretary in a doctor's office within the hospital. Can't be a nurse here. So that's not going to work. So I started applying to all these different places, and I would get an instant callback, do the interview, and towards the end, I finally started leading with it. I'd tell them all my experience, the CVICU and the ER, and they're like, yeah, you're hired. Look. I'm like, oh, there's one thing. I'm in TPAP in it. And they're like, oh, let us talk to our staff and we'll call you tomorrow. No one ever called back. And ultimately, I met one lady who I didn't know. And I told her the situation, like right off the bat, because I had had this conversation so many times. The only place that had actually offered me a job, they said, I don't remember what the clinic was called, but they said, we affectionately refer to it as the STD clinic. And that's pretty much all you're doing is swabbing junk all day. I was like, fuck no, not happening. So I had just about given up on it. And
do you still have to do that at STD tests anymore?
Yeah.
Can't you just go get a blood test now?
Well, you can, but it's been a while since I've helped with the STD test, but it used to be a massive Q-tip and
up the penis head hole.
Yeah, or the woman.
But you don't have to, yeah, I mean.
They culture it out.
And it's like not as bad. But yeah, now I think you can just get a blood test that's very accurate.
I'll sidetrack this real quick and tell you one funny ER story.
Yeah.
I used to work in triage. This was at Medical City in Dallas. And the bus got off. And every time the bus stopped, you'd be like, our patient's getting off. Sometimes it would, sometimes it wouldn't. So this guy got off one day. And he gets out and he's walking like this, and he's way off in the distance. Gets a little closer. I see he's got a spoon, holding a spoon. And he comes up and he's like, I need to check in. I'm like, what's up? He's like, well, I really don't want to talk about it. I'm like, okay, well, write your complaint. And he writes something about his penis is burning. I'm like, what's in the spoon, man?
No.
And he's like, well, I didn't know if y'all needed a sample or something. So this is what's dribbling out of me. And I said, okay, man, I'll just let you know. You can go throw that spoon away. We're going to be able to figure this out without. He's like, no, I really want. And when you don't have insurance and you come to the ER for something somewhat trivial, they're going to say, here's the cash price, or here's a resource packet of somewhere you can go when you don't have insurance. I already know what's going to happen to this guy because I asked him if he had insurance. He said he didn't have any money. So I'm not rude. I just don't want him to waste all this time.
Like, get the spoon away from me, bro.
So he sat there for a good 2 hours just holding it in the chair. Finally, he went back. He was back there for 5 minutes, came right back out. They had given him the packet that I was trying to give him to him hours earlier. But what got me is he walked over to the water fountain and he poured it out, and then he rinsed off the spoon, and then he put it back in his pocket, and he walked out the door. Like, you're keeping the damn spoon.
That is really fucked up.
I mean, when you see stuff like that, you just realize life could be way different for you.
Yeah, man.
So, but
So,
anyways, I had to be in that TPAPN program. I had to be unsupervised for 3 years, where every day I woke up, I had to check in online before noon and find out if I had to do a drug test that day. And then you had till 2:00 to get it done. So that's the other problem, is if you're working within the hospital, and it's not a fast process to run up to any of these little clinics and do the P test.
yeah.
So having to find a job where you can just leave whenever, because it's your day, don't know when you're going to be back, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 3 hours. It didn't fly and go over very well with anyone. So the situation, I understand why they want to do it, but they make it so challenging for the participant and for any employer. Also, there is no improving the situation.
Yeah.
So I lost count. I would say I did at least 145 drug tests. Each time was $80 a pop. It added up. I had no job. Finally, this one lady, who's a great person, still is a great person, good friend of mine, she decided to take a chance on me. She's like, I don't care. You seem like a good person. She's like, come try it out. I'll have to see what the doctor says. And, you might watch you a little close initially, but let's see. And it worked out well. And I still work the same place. She ended up moving to Kansas City last year, but worked there 1 day a week ever since.
That's awesome. And then you started your new company.
So, the one part you asked about the woodworking. So while I was waiting to find a job, I was an art minor in college, and I did tiny little pen and inks, very reminiscent of M.C. Escher.
Yeah.
Just little optical illusion things.
Some Mr. Choppa stuff right there. Yeah.
Yes. And I always found it fascinating woodworking. And we ended up redoing our fence, and I had all this wood, and I was like, I'm going to chop some of this up and see if I can make some art. And made a pretty cool piece the first time out. I did not contemplate how much it was going to weigh. It weighs 72 pounds. I put in this little niche in our entryway, and it will never come back down because I almost broke my neck trying to hang it up on the wall, up elevated. But I started making them lighter, started figuring it out, and started doing art shows, and it went really well. And I actually kind of fed my sobriety into it because I called the company Recovered Calling, and I put little Easter eggs out there so anyone who was within kind of sobriety and reading the book, they would know exactly where that came from.
Yeah.
But to other people, they just wouldn't. That's a weird name for something.
Yeah. Or just like whatever, not even think about it.
Yes. So it went really well. The challenge was I had a lot of success right off the bat and sold a lot of pieces. And I was like, this is going to be easy. I mean, I sold one piece of art for almost $10,000, and I could not believe that I'm making $10,000 with trash.
Yeah.
And making it look really cool. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I really didn't dive into the marketing part of it. And the people in that industry have a very high opinion of themselves. And if you're not at galleries that want 50 to 60% commission off your sale, I realized it wasn't the industry for me.
Yeah.
And Do
you still do it?
I haven't done anything since the day. I still actually have about 8 pieces in my garage that I canceled that last art show.
Yeah.
I do occasionally have some people reach out to me, but it's never been anything too serious to do one. But I'm absolutely all for doing some. I just occupied at the time.
Yeah.
But it was what I needed to really kind of start listening to self-help books, podcasts, just learning new things, because it was just me sitting in the driveway for hours on end. And I mean, otherwise, I was trying to just get over all these crazy feelings.
That was during COVID, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And we talked during that time.
Uh-huh. So it was the perfect thing to bridge that gap when I had nothing else to do and I didn't want to go try to find a different job field to get into.
Yeah.
But about 3 years ago, I worked with a lot of doctors over the years, and there's one doctor that we're good buddies. He's a CRNA, and I thought about starting a mobile IV company, and I guess 3 Christmases ago, I reached out to him and said, hey, you want to start a business next year? And he's like, yeah, I've been thinking about it myself too. I just don't have the ability to put it all together. And I was like, well, I think I have some ideas. And the next week we went and formed the LLC and we were off. And it's gone really well. We're finally getting to the point to where I wanted to. I had no idea what I was doing. Unfortunately, nurses and doctors, while they might be great at taking care of people, they're not great at running a business.
Right.
So that's been my biggest challenge. And there's some extremely fun aspects to this job. And it's real easy to invest all your time in there, make some decent money. But I avoid the hard stuff too many times. And I'm starting to really realize the stuff that I want to suppress and not think about is the stuff that I should be attacking on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've known that for a long time, but it's, once again, easier said than done.
What's it called?
State of Infusion.
Good name.
My wife made it up.
Jennifer.
I was like, I hope you're not kidding, because that is the name.
It's good.
So it's
rock solid.
It's been a blast. And what I've learned through this, and I've been in the hospital for over 20 years, and you're always bound by the hospital's policies and doctor's order. Not that we're doing anything rogue, but there's always a voice telling you what you can and can't do, and staying within certain guidelines or certain medications, and you cannot deviate from that.
Yeah.
And I've started to realize there is so much more to addressing someone's health than just taking a pill.
Yeah.
And a lot of times requires no medicine. But now this has allowed me to kind of take everything that I've learned over the last 20 plus years and make my own company. And I trust the doctor that I work with, and I trust all the nurses that I work with. We pretty much hire specifically labor and delivery and ER nurses. There are certain kind of people that do those jobs.
Yeah.
We have now helped 14 different country clubs here in the Metroplex with all their special events, pickleball, golf, member guest tournaments, things like that. And the irony of it is that I watch guys drink more alcohol now than at any point probably when we were drinking. I mean, yeah,
because a lot of people are doing the IV stuff because to combat hangovers or dehydration when you're out there drinking at a golf.
Yes,
like and the member guest is like drink beer in the sun all day and it's go get IV'd up.
It's very frustrating to call a country club and they talk about liability of this. I'm like, it's a perceived liability.
Yeah.
A lot of these clubs will have 200 plus guys drinking from sunup. There'll be a party that night. They don't shut it down till 11, 12 at night. There's cart girls, there's kegs on the course, there's distilleries on the course, there's ice luges. It is out of control. Just open bar, top shelf all day. And they want to talk about this little needle in the arm. I'm like, you're not checking anyone when they drive out of here. I mean, almost every tournament has to be reset just because someone gets arrested. They go to a steakhouse, someone grabs the waitress's ass and something happens. I mean, they have fun for 3 or 4 days. And so we get very popular there because we bring them back from the dead.
Yeah.
And the ones that don't drink and the ones that are there to compete, it's funny because we'll do at most 20% of the field, and that's a pretty good day. But when you get to the final shootout, we do all kinds of different sports. There's always some kind of playoff.
Yeah.
Once you get to the playoff, you look over there and we'll have 50 to 75% of the people in the playoff got an IV from us. Like, there's your proof.
Yeah.
It's not going to make you a better golfer. It just gives you more endurance, makes you feel better, stay a little looser out there.
That's cool, man.
But now
did you bring me a NAD shot?
I did. So how much NAD did you take?
I don't know. It was a while ago.
So,
I didn't really feel it.
So they must have not given you much because you can't hide from it in the drip.
Yeah.
So with NAD, it's one of the healthiest things you can put in your body. It kind of helps kick off the ATP cycle. As we get older, they estimate that every 20 years, we lose about 50% of what we were born with. So by age 40, you got 25% of what you were born with. So the one thing that everyone notices is just kind of mood elevation and more energy. It just depends on how fast you metabolize it.
Yeah.
When I take a shot, I feel it within 20 seconds. It is literally instantaneous.
Yeah.
Some people, it's not till the end of the day. They just have more energy, or when they wake up the following morning, like, I just feel good when I get out of bed.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter, man or woman, whatever race, whatever weight it is. It's just how low you are.
Where do you do it?
parts.
You're going to give me a shot of it?
I am going to give you
Where
a
in
shot.
the butt?
We can, but I wasn't planning on giving you that much.
Arm?
I'd say up to 150 milligrams. You can get it in the arm, no problem.
Like up here? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you want it in the butt.
No, I mean, I don't know. Is it like sub-Q?
I am in the muscle.
Oh, fuck. I hate those things.
So it's nowhere near as bad as testosterone. It's much smaller needle.
Oh, yeah, the testosterone ones.
It's so thick. I do it every week.
I
hate the shot.
I quit it. I quit everything. I was doing all kinds of peptides and testosterone, and I'm like full on clean. I was actually debating taking this because I'm like clean and I don't take anything.
I won't put it on you.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about it after the show. Have you ever had a mystical experience?
I have had. I thought about that. I would say the biggest mystical experience, I don't know if this is your definition, but this was a time that I don't recall ever having an event like this, where it was actually when I was at rehab, and this lawyer that I had made friends with. And he was a few years older than me and completely different set of circumstances. But he was further down the road in this process with his wife, and what happens if you continually go in and out of rehab. And I could see that's my future. But he had to write a letter to his wife in our little group. And he got really emotional and started crying. But at that moment, I don't know why, it was like I climbed inside his body, and it was me, the one reading that letter. Because so much of what he was saying was applying to me. And it was a surreal moment. It just kind of, when he was done, I just kind of snapped out of it again. And I was just like, I cannot let that be me. Like, no matter what, that cannot be me doing that. Like, that was just, it was great for him to cleanse himself of that, but I just knew the path that I was on. I didn't want to ever have to read a letter like that.
Dude, when you get on the path of sobriety, like the miracles and mystical experiences that begin to occur is profound. Like, it happens, and it's just like you got to awaken to it, and then you become conscious of it. I mean, they're always probably occurring anyway, but once you become really conscious of it and paying attention, then things like that will happen. Like things you can't explain, but I bet that's a really helpful experience when you have those days where you're like, maybe.
And it's really sad because I found out probably about a year ago that he died. He never stopped drinking. He did end up getting separated from his wife and died with ascites, the swelly belly, and was puking up blood everywhere. And it's a horrific way to go.
Yeah, man. We have had many friends go that way.
And I mean, a few of the people that I actually kept in contact with from that thing have all died too. There's only 2 that I know of. They're doing well. And the amazing thing is, one of my buddies, we don't talk too often, maybe 5-6 times a year. And it had been a while since we last talked, and he drank a whole lot. And he's been sober ever since, but him and his wife just had their second child about a month and a half ago, which is shocking because their first daughter, after about a year, hit a developmental delay, and everything just halted and regressed. And this girl is probably not going to be able to walk. She's never going to be able to function on her own. She is a total care. It's a really sad situation for him, but when he first told me about this like 2 years ago, I was like, are you okay, man? Like, this is a lot to handle. And he's been sober through the whole thing, and I just know if he wouldn't have done what he had done, I mean, he probably never would have gotten married to begin with, but it would have been wheels off if he didn't have those things in place.
Yeah, man. I've said it before, like when Betty got diagnosed with diabetes, I landed at the airport from Europe from a work trip and found out she was at the ICU. And I talked to Morris shortly after that. He's like, man, did you just want to go to the bar and have a drink? I was like, the last thing I wanted to do. I was so thankful for like my sobriety in that moment. Like, you got to go lock in and be a dad. Like, thank God I wasn't coming home from Europe hungover like I would have been.
I know. It's
4 years earlier.
It's awful.
That's scary. That's the time when it is like, arguably my favorite time to be sober is the tough times.
Yeah.
It's not like I've never started drinking or like contemplate it when I'm going through something really difficult. Thankfully, I know some people do, but for me, it's when things are going really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that's
yeah, but God will take care of that real fast. He'll start bitch slapping me. He's like, bro, you want it to be hard again? Okay. It happens faster when you go back too. So good reminder to myself. Yeah, man, I know you got to go check out a football game. First game for your son, middle school.
So there is one other thing I wanted to say related to this, because I know we just briefly touched on the NAD.
State of infusion.
But where it gets really fun now is the biologics. That's well beyond PRP, peptides, anything like that. So it's stem cells, it's exosomes.
Yes.
It is, I feel like, such a used car.
Are you doing this?
I am.
Oh, cool.
I'll have to show you my...
I'm curious about this for my shoulder. Like, my shoulder is... I love doing push-ups, and God, I just like do push-ups until my shoulder from high school starts bothering me again, my left shoulder.
I actually, when I did this and I was thinking about how I can improve, I thought about you, because I remember that big-ass leather thing you used to wear over your shoulder, like looked like a saddle or something you used to put on your shoulder.
Harness. It would wrap around my chest, and it was the dumbest thing. It didn't even work. It was just like made me super uncomfortable. I had to wear a double one in college for both shoulders. Thankfully, my right shoulder, I healed my left shoulder, which is the worst, through meditation. I really believe that I healed it at a meditation retreat, and I felt it heal. And then I threw Betty in the swimming pool and fucked it up again. That was not, she's got my genes. She's a tall girl. But yeah, my shoulder still kind of acts up. Now it's just when I do push-ups. Like if I do push-ups too many days in a row, just lets me know.
That's where this stuff comes in. So you can do a direct injection right in there. And it basically reminds your body.
Is it like PRP? Is that
it's
what it is?
Way better than PRP.
Okay.
So basically it's the stem cells.
I want to do this.
That they don't do anything other than slide in and out through the vessels, and they can occasionally, they know where the inflammation is. Yeah. You don't have to guide them. They can measure the blood. They see where they need to go and where it's most necessary. And they're going to dip in there and do their thing. And they just remind the body how to heal. All the same functions are still there in your body. It's just nothing is as effective and as new as it was when you were a teenager. So that's why, for me, I was jumping off my house, jumping out of trees, doing crazy stuff growing up.
Yeah.
From 15, 20 feet up. Like, I can't believe some of the stuff I did. If our body couldn't heal itself, we would have had osteoporosis at such a young age and just been so debilitated. But your body is full of all the things it needs to heal itself very rapidly. Unfortunately, as we get older, all that's there, but it doesn't work anywhere near. It's maybe at a 10th, a 20th of the power of what it used to be, so it takes so long to regenerate and heal. And it's conserving its stuff because it knows you got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
So when you can kind of supplement in some of this stuff and it just comes through, and all of a sudden the body just kind of remembers what it used to do.
Yeah.
And it's much more effective at healing itself instead of taking steroids or whatever surgery they're recommending.
Yeah.
It's remarkable, but it works
So you take out blood from me,
Nope.
or it's just, what is it?
So there's a lot of misconception. A lot of people think it comes from nefarious ways. For a long time, you could not do it in the United States. It's still somewhat of a gray area, but it's 100% not illegal. So a lot of people, when they hear stem cells, they're thinking of it when you take it from your own bone marrow or your own fat. That's fine. The problem is, how old are you, 47?
Yeah.
47. If you were going to redo this house, would you buy 47-year-old equipment to fix this house?
No.
So this comes from the umbilical cords of extremely healthy C-section babies. There is a extremely vigorous screening process just to see if they even qualify.
Yeah.
If they meet that, then they turn it over. They throw out 9 out of 10 samples because they only want the best of the best. But the easy way of explaining it is you have a stem cell, you see the cell it looks like a water balloon. You got a stem cell in the middle and a bunch of confetti, kind of like a snow globe. All that stuff floating around is exosomes, growth factors, cytokines, all kinds of things needed to create a human. So once the baby's born, these never had surface proteins. They never had surface markers on them because they never made it to their destination. So they're kind of stuck in a time capsule. So these are like, when the baby comes out, it's a minute old, it's an hour old, it's a week old. Nothing's younger than a baby. But these are like -5 months old, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So because they don't have those surface proteins, you can't reject it like an organ transplant or blood donation or anything. Anybody can take it. There's never been anyone hurt from taking these. So they're regenerative and preventative as opposed to reactive, like the way the majority of our hospital system is now.
Yeah. What does it cost?
It's not cheap. It's not cheap just because they literally screen.
I know. I didn't ask why. I said how much.
There is a range on it. So
I get it.
Depending on what you're talking about, top end around 11 grand.
Yeah.
Down to kind of 2,000, but I wouldn't tell everyone you need an $11,000 infusion.
Yeah.
They might be just fine with the $4,000 one. It just really depends on what's going on.
That $11,000 infusion, I imagine it just like makes you feel like $1 million.
So I was told that
Have you done one?
Not yet. It's a little I've done the mid-tier ones. I just can't justify spending that money yet.
Yeah.
But the last guy I did it on, I always had heard you can give a euphoric feeling because you push it pretty quick on these people. So this guy, I know him from golf tournaments. He drinks, and I've seen him drinking. I told him, don't drink before
He
this.
drinks like one of us.
Nah, he's actually got it together. I mean, at these things, all these guys cut loose hard.
Yeah.
Like, they take off work, and they know they're doing work for 4 days.
By the way, our crew can out-party most people. I found, like, Pedigo and I, when we went on tour, we would drink people that hung out at rock clubs all the time, under the table, all over the world. There's something in the East Dallas water, like, we don't fuck around.
I believe that because I've been a lot of places, and I think we grew up in a very unique bubble with a bunch of unique people, and I don't think a lot of people had high school experiences like us on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And I mean, I still to this day have very unique things, but a lot of that's because I got a big mouth and I like to just talk to people. So
Yeah.
But no, it's quite remarkable what they're seeing with.
But he said he had a euphoric experience.
So I pushed it on him. About a minute and a half later, all of a sudden his eyes just glazed over like he had had a bunch of drinks, and he started smiling, and he's like, I feel incredible. And like, he was just smiling. I was packing up all my stuff, and it was probably 15 minutes later, and this was right after I had injured myself, so he helped me carry my bag out to the truck. And as I drove off, he looked like Forrest Gump when he's on the boat, just standing there waving and smiling. He looked as happy as can be. So I checked in with him 2.5 weeks ago, and he says he feels fantastic.
Yeah.
So
how long does it last?
It depends on what you're doing it for. When you do that big bag through the IV, it has a systemic effect. So it's going to go everywhere. It's going to work for over a year.
That's the $11,000 bag? Yeah.
It works for over a year, but the main focus of the work is really going to happen in the first 3 months. It really depends on what you're doing it. When I say it can be used for Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia, heart failure, kidney failure, cancer, lupus.
Can it prevent things from coming back, or do you have to keep re-upping every year?
It's all very person to person.
Yeah.
It depends on what's going on. So there's people that you can never say this is going to cure anything specifically.
Yeah.
If someone has cancer and they say, can this help my cancer? I cannot speak on their cancer specifically. I can say, I know that this is going to help your body overall.
Yeah.
Help optimize cells. Cells that turn cancerous can go back.
Yeah.
And they're fragile, so they can be destroyed too. There's natural killer cells you can put in. There's a lot of things out there that don't require a pill.
Yeah.
And it's really sad. I'm not going to say anyone's name right now, but I started talking to a few random people here lately that I haven't talked to in a long time. Same thing, just they asked about my parents, I asked about theirs. Some of our friends' parents got dementia, don't remember their names anymore.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I haven't seen those people in so long. So now I'm starting to put that conversation out there that, hey, what pills are they taking? What are they doing? Because unfortunately with Parkinson's, a lot of these things, there's only a handful of pills you can take. And once you've maxed out on those, there's no other therapies left to try.
Yeah.
So these therapies aren't going to take Grandpa back to pre-stroke, how he was. But if Grandpa had a stroke, and for the last 6 months he's been PT, he still can't move the right side of his body, he can't articulate words, he's still drooling, and there's no guarantee that this is going to change anything.
Yeah.
But there's significant evidence for a lot of people that all of a sudden they get function back in their right arm after getting these therapies.
Yeah.
Like there was a guy, I was there talking to my guy, and this guy called who has ALS, and he had done a second infusion. And he called and started crying. He put it on speakerphone, and he was saying, I can straighten my finger. No big deal, you can straighten your finger. But what I didn't know is this guy had been contorted for months. Couldn't do anything. He lost all dexterity. He could barely even use his cell phone. But his complaint was his ear always itched. And he couldn't do anything about it because his hands were fucked up. So all of a sudden he was able to extend his finger and reach in his ear and scratch his ear. And he was so happy about it.
Yeah.
And I just, things that you don't think about, that you take for granted.
No doubt.
And it's just remarkable to see. And I 100% believe this is the future of medicine. It's just, the problem is it's anti-big pharma, it's anti-insurance, it's anti-hospital. They want a patient for life. They want another therapy.
They want you to be sick.
They're going to give you enough to keep you going, but remain reliant on them.
That's right.
This stuff is trying to take them the other direction.
I love that.
It's really cool.
I'm going to contemplate doing that.
I'm going to show you the video after we stop this of the injection he just did in my shoulder 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Painless.
Yeah. Right on, man. Hey, thanks for coming over.
Absolutely.
How do people track you down? State of the Infusion?
State of Infusion. We actually have a new website that should be coming out today, tomorrow, sometime this week. It's just soinfusion.com.
Sweet.
On Instagram, on State of Infusion IV.
soinfusion.com. Man, always good to catch up with you, my brother.
Absolutely.
Talk about the good old days.
Absolutely.
And the journey ahead. Absolutely. Thanks for trucking on. Peace.